Bill O'Reilly here. You are listening to the O'Reilly Update. Coming up next, the news with Mike Slater.
Thank you, Bill. It's Thursday, January 25th, 2024. Here's what's happening today in America. Death row, Jon Stewart, cosmics, and how often do you eat out? Talk about that all coming up. Then Bill's going to be here with your message of the day. But first, the Supreme Court had the opportunity to stop the execution of a man on death row in Alabama. They declined that opportunity. He's going to be put to death by nitrogen gas today, a new method. 14 months ago, the state tried to kill him with lethal injection, but they couldn't find a vein in time. And then the day ended. They were allowed to kill him on November 17th, 2022, and they started the effort at 10 p.m. And then it became midnight and they couldn't kill him. They weren't allowed to kill him on November 18th, Isn't that crazy? That was Alabama's third botched execution. Now, only 3 other states even allow someone to be killed using gas, and none of them have ever done it. 5 reporters are going to witness it. Kenneth Smith's going to be given 2 minutes to say his final words, and a prison warden will initiate the pumping of gas inside of a mask over his face. And people say this is cruel and unusual punishment, but worth noting, the pioneer of physician-assisted suicide invented a pod that fills with nitrogen gas as a way for people to kill themselves. It's used increasingly frequently in Canada. The snark of Jon Stewart is back. He will be hosting The Daily Show every Monday, starting February 12th until the election. And he's going to be the executive producer of the show on every other day. Personal note, if you lament the division in our country, I believe one of the major sources of that is The Daily Show. Jon Stewart was the host for 16 years, left in 2015. He's hosted The Problem with Jon Stewart on Apple TV the last 2 years, but that never broke out. So we'll see if returning to Comedy Central will do it. Also, don't fall for the, I'm just a comedian, guys. I'm fascinated with McDonald's Starbucks killer, Cosmics, their crazy specialty drinks. They have one location, Bolingbrook, Illinois. They're set to open 9 more this year. This first location has twice the number of visitors as a typical McDonald's in a month. But they're also half the size, square footage-wise. So they actually generate triple the number of visits per square footage. A ton of money to be made selling Sour Cherry Energy Burst, Berry Hibiscus Sourade, and S'mores Cold Brew. Speaking of, people are eating out more than ever. Americans spent $95 billion on eating out, well above what we spent before COVID, but only $72 billion on groceries. So 30% more money on going to restaurants than groceries. It wasn't that long ago when eating out was a once-a-year treat. Maybe you go on your birthday. Now people do it all the time. I'm Mike Slater from the podcast Politics by Faith. The great Bill O'Reilly has your message of the day. Next.
Our freedoms should never be taken for granted. They must be cherished, protected, and defended. When corporations pander to the liberal agenda, they must be punished. When corporations stand up for conservative values, they should be supported. This brings me to Freedom 2.0, the bottled water company that proudly represents us. They have hilarious sayings on each bottle like, "This water ain't woke," and "bottled with liberal tears." Use the code BILL for a 15% discount and subscribe to Freedom 2.0. We must never discount freedom, but we can discount water as long as you use the code BILL. Please visit freedom20.com to order now. That's freedom, the number 2, the letter O.com. Freedom20.com. Use code BILL for 15% off. Time now for the O'Reilly Update message of the day. On this Thursday, Nikki Haley now presenting a problem for Donald Trump and the Republican Party. Her determination to challenge the former president is civically a positive. We should have people running for office. But her stinging critiques will help President Biden. Ambassador Haley now has 4 long weeks to diminish Trump before the next vote, this one in her home state of South Carolina. She will likely lose there, but like New Hampshire, she'll run a spirited campaign reminding voters of Trump's age and controversies. And then there's a debate. Nikki Haley will insist on one. What will Trump do? If he dodges the debate, that will hurt him. If he accepts, the corrupt press will crown Haley the winner before a word is even spoken. Meanwhile, Joe Biden will never debate as he is incapable of doing that. Now, if I were Donald Trump, I would debate Nikki Haley. Trump has a successful 4-year term in the Oval Office, a record to run on. Ms. Haley does not have any national policy experience. This shouldn't even be close. So, summing up, Donald Trump won New Hampshire electorally, but Joe Biden really won. I'm Bill O'Reilly. I approve the message by writing it. You can reach me, Bill at BillO'Reilly.com, Bill at BillO'Reilly.com, name and town if you wish to opine. All right, let's go to the mail. Linda Lapp, Burlington, Vermont. Bill, I know you have repeatedly said Biden will be running against the economy and the fact that everything has risen in price. But the AARP Bulletin has an article that states the economy is pretty well. They report prices are up, but inflation is falling. The AARP Bulletin is read by millions of people. Do they believe this? Most of them do. AARP is very liberal. Very, very liberal. That's why we have AMAC, to counter that. I think you should get both, because you get discounts and all kinds of stuff. Concierge member John. Bill, my mother had Alzheimer's. I tried to keep her home, but was ordered to put her in a nursing home. I visited her 6 times a week for 6 years before she passed. She was on the dementia floor of the nursing home, so I know what that looks like. Joe Biden has dementia. Okay. David Hummerhouse, Visalia, California. Since both Doug Schoen and Chris Cuomo think Michelle Obama's chances of running are very slight to never, I suddenly had a horrifying thought. What if Biden will put Newsom as his running mate? Impossible. Biden's not going to dump Kamala Harris at this point. It's impossible. Lloyd, yes, the federal government holds supremacy over border enforcement, but it also must protect each state from invasion. Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, and California being invaded by illegal immigrants. Therefore, Governor Abbott of Texas is correct. He may be in theory, but he's not under the Constitution. And that's the conundrum. Word of the day. Tim Hanna, Moseley, Virginia. I checked out missingmoney.com after your Smart Life segment, O'Reilly. I found money that was mine. I got my check yesterday with interest. I don't have enough to retire, but I do have enough to buy 7 or 8 sandwiches at your local deli. That means you got a hefty check. Sandwiches at my local deli are up. In a moment, something you might not know. If you own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles and have an auto warranty about to expire or have no warranty at all, listen up. Car Shield has a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that's now available to the public. Save on out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. So please call Car Shield now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. 800-925-7584 for a free quote. Drivers who activate the vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. So please call for your free quote, 800-925-7584, 800-925-7584. Hey, what do you have to lose? 800-925-7584. Now the O'Reilly Update brings you something you might not know. 54 years ago today, an anti-war film released in theaters nationwide. Though the plot was set in Korea, the movie was really about America's controversial conflict in Vietnam. Here is the story of MASH. The motion picture was released on January 25th, 1970. At the time, 400,000 young Americans were fighting in Southeast Asia. The premise focused on a unit of medical personnel stationed at a mobile Army surgical hospital, known as MASH, an acronym. The film starred Donald Sutherland, Sally Kellerman, and Elliot Gould. It was a hit, nominated for 5 Academy Awards, winning the Oscar for Best Screenplay. MASH was then adapted for television. The TV show premiered 2 years later. Millions of Americans tuned in each week to see Alan Alda and his crew act out. Mr. Alda took creative control of the series during the second season, co-writing 13 episodes and directing 40. MASH ran for 11 years on CBS, nearly 4 times longer than the actual Korean War. In February 1983, CBS aired the 2.5-hour finale. Titled Goodbye, Farewell, and Amen, the show chronicled the final days of the Korean conflict. After the ceasefire, the medics dismantled the camp, returned to the USA. In total, MASH won 14 Emmys, 9 Golden Globes, and was honored with a Peabody Award for excellence in broadcasting. And here's something else you might not know. The finale of MASH was the most anticipated event in TV history. 125 million people watched the broadcast, 53% of the entire U.S. population. The network sold 30-second commercial spots to advertisers for more money than the Super Bowl. Back after this. It's time to start taking care of your liver now. Data from the American Heart Association shows adults with fatty liver were 3.5 times more likely to have heart failure than those without. And the American Liver Foundation reports that 100 million Americans have fatty liver. Not good. When you throw bad things like alcohol, toxins, Tylenol, and more at your liver, it's no wonder it becomes sluggish and fatty. Your liver has been helping you with many key functions every day for your life, and it's time you help your liver now. Liver Health Formula is an all-natural supplement with clinically proven botanicals that help recharge and protect. Try Liver Health Formula, receive a free bottle of nano-powered omega-3 to keep your heart healthy. Please go to getliverhelp.com/bill. That's getliverhelp.com/bill. Thank you for listening to the O'Reilly Update. I am Bill O'Reilly. No spin, just facts, and always looking out for you.